Welcome one and all. This is Comic Book Central, where comic books come to life. I'm your host, Joe Stuber. Welcome to episode 500 of the show. Man, never thought I'd say that. When I kicked things off on episode 1 with the late, great Stan Lee, that was way back in 2013, I never could have dreamed of reaching this milestone. Well over 500 celebrity guests have joined me over the years. You loyal listeners tune in episode after episode after episode. I am truly appreciative. And talk about a celebrity cavalcade. That is exactly what is headed your way today for this episode 500. What better way to celebrate this landmark show of Comic Book Central than to kick off my adventure at this summer's TerrifiCon. I attend every year. I moderate a bunch of Q&As. I record as many conversations with the celebs and comic creators as I can get. I roam the floor all weekend long in between those Q&As, trying to get little conversations here and there. I bring it all to you right here on Comic Book Central every year. So if you missed this year's TerrifiCon, I'm sorry to hear that. It was really fun. But you can hear a lot of it on these very episodes that are coming your way. But I'm telling you, you want to make your plans now for TerrifiCon 2026. The event is going to take place August 7th through the 9th, as always, in Uncasville, Connecticut at the beautiful Mohegan Sun. My buddy Mitch Halleck, he is the man behind TerrifiCon. He is already making the plans. He's booking the guests. TerrifiCon.com is where you want to go to find out all of the info for next year's show so you can make your plans. But right now, a bunch of guests are headed your way today. First, check this out. I'm going to pay a few bills. Then I will be right back with part 1 of my adventure at TerrifiCon. Hey, this was the summer of Superman, right? Oh, if you were a Superman fan, you probably lost your mind this year. There was so much content out there. Well, at TerrifiCon, I was able to chat with 2 stars of the hit series Superman and Lois. First up, the man who menaced Superman and Lois, especially in that chilling final season, Lex Luthor himself, actor Michael Cudlitz. Now, Michael was a guest previously at TerrifiCon, but it was during the 2 Hollywood strikes, so he did a Q&A, but he couldn't really talk about playing Lex at the time. This time, much different. Let's visit with Michael Cudlitz. All right, so welcome back to TerrifiCon. We appreciate having you back.
Thanks. Good to be here, as always.
The last time you were here was 2023, and when I say that date to you, to your credit, you did have a Q&A that year. I don't know how many Qs and how many As you were. You couldn't talk about Superman, and the interesting thing was the episode where it was season 3. The last couple episodes had just dropped weeks before you were here, and you couldn't talk about Lex. What would you have liked to have told us back in 2023 about those episodes and what was coming up?
You know, in retrospect, probably nothing. I love when the work just speaks for itself. There was a lot of, opinions about me playing Lex when the photos came out and when the information came out. So I would rather just sit back and let the work talk for itself, because you can't. There's certain things you can't explain to a fan base that is already riled up about whether it's Snyderverse or Gunn or this or that. Like, you kind of just like that. There's nothing good that's going to come out of it if you try to sort of like sell yourself as, well, I'm the new Lex, and this is why it's great, because this and this and this. It's like, look, the work speaks for itself. I think our writers did an amazing job with the world that our characters lived in, which is different than any of the other ones that were out there, any of the other universes. We're beyond canon with the characters, where Superman is older, Lex is older, and because of that, we got to, steal a bunch of different elements from past canons and past universes and other worlds, and sort of create our own world using little bits and pieces of all of them, So really happy with where we wound up, really proud of the work, but specifically to that question, I'm glad we weren't able to talk about it. I think it helped us.
How did you approach the character? Because you mentioned there were so many different iterations at that time, and this was the series itself was more about family, and your Lex was more about family with the loss of his daughter and things like that.
Was there anything you could draw from the comics? Was there anything you could draw from past iterations? Or did you try to avoid all that and just say, who is this guy?
No, there's a couple of threads that go through all Lexes. You know, even though it wasn't the central theme of what we were doing, the hatred for Superman, even though we played more of his hatred for what Lois had done to him, specifically with the family element, because obviously that's a theme in the show. And I think it's a wonderful way to sort of approach the character and give us different insight to Lex, stuff that we usually don't focus on. It usually is driven by the Superman element. But there are character traits in him that are consistent throughout, you know, and those who read the comics, those who know the comics, whatever universe you're in, those things are consistent. So you can grab onto those things and then you apply them to the new world and the new circumstances.
Do you have any favorite moments from playing Lex? I know it was rather brief, but I'm thinking about the fight in the street with Clark. I'm thinking about the battle suit. I mean, small time, but so many impactful moments. What were your favorites? Or maybe even just hanging out with the cast and crew?
I mean, you know, it's interesting. Everyone said, "Oh, small time," and I don't say this in you know being sarcastic to you, but you know, most people who do the films, you're sitting with them for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I did a full season. You know the thing. So you're with my Lex for many more hours than you are at certain other hours. You know, so yes, in the world of a TV show, you know, if you compare it to Smallville and Michael Rosenbaum, who we spent a tremendous amount of time with, you know, yes, he was this Lex lived for a very short amount of time. But compared to films, this Lex lived a very long time.
Yeah, true.
And you brought up earlier the fight with Superman. That is one of my favorite moments in it. I just think it was very visceral and long time coming and something we'd never seen before. Just to see them, you know, man to man, hand to hand, just a great, you know, slugfest. It's fun.
And you got to direct an episode. What was that like for you?
I did. I directed season 4, episode 8. And it was wonderful. The cast was really welcoming to me, and you know, I said when I was going to direct, I asked them if they could please schedule my episode towards the end of the season so I could really get a feel for the cast and the crew, and they did that. And by the time I directed, I was very, very, very up to speed with the specific nuances of the characters and the relationships with each other. And I think that's incredibly important to know all that stuff while directing. So. Again, had a blast and was really happy with how it turned out.
What's next for you?
We'll see.
You got anything nothing you can spoil though, but I mean, you got some irons in the fire?
But okay. nothing that can be talked about.
Sounds good. Michael, thank you so much for coming back to TerrifiCon and joining me on Comic Book Central.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
And just a few tables over was Michael's castmate, yes, the wonderful actress who brought Lois Lane to life in Superman and Lois, Bitsie Tulloch. Now, Bitsie got to add so many new layers to the role of Lois in the show over 4 seasons, and we got to revisit her time on the series.
Taking on the iconic role of Lois Lane, I mean, so many decades of history behind it. Did you have any concerns whenever you first took on the role, especially seeing it was such a different take on the character?
No, I really didn't. I trusted that I was cast for a reason, and I had had so little exposure to Lois. The only thing I'd seen was the original Donner film with Margot Kidder years prior, but my whole life I'd been told I looked like Margot Kidder. So when I got the audition, I was thinking, oh, that's so funny because I know I kind of look like Margot Kidder. But it wasn't necessarily intimidating. It was more, I felt, okay, let me look into why this character is so beloved and has remained so iconic so many years later, and kind of lean into those aspects about Lois's personality and demeanor instead of feeling like intimidated. I was never intimidated. Yeah.
You didn't have 2 teenage sons when you took the role, right? I mean,
No.
how did you become such a convincing mom of 2 very interesting teenage sons?
When I took the role initially for the Elseworlds crossover, I was 6 months pregnant with my daughter, who's now 6. And then during the next crossover, Vivian would have been, 6 months old, whatever. So I had a little baby. And in the next one, Tyler and I had 1 baby. And then the big reveal is when we're on the phone, he says something like the twins and then so that was a sort of surprise during the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, and then of course when the series got picked up, it was teenagers. So I don't have experience with teenagers, so that was just me kind of leaning into remembering how my mom would yell at me, kind of things. Yeah.
How do you want us to remember your legacy as Lois? The time that you were, I know it wasn't as long as people wanted, but I think you guys got to wrap up the way most series don't that are canceled. And how do you want us to remember your take on Lois?
I think my take on Lois should be remembered, certainly the family aspect of it, of being a mom, and how the vulnerability of being a mother and having children that are in danger. More than that, just how much I really honored the character, and I respect the fans so much, and wanted to honor their favorite parts about Lois, their favorite wardrobes about Lois. I took that really seriously. I'm really proud of some of the storylines we did, particularly the breast cancer storyline, the miscarriage storyline, and for them to tackle that on a superhero show was really impressive. And that really, those kudos goes to our writer.
Would you come back to the role?
I absolutely would, in a heartbeat.
Okay. What's next for you, though? What can we look forward to?
I just finished filming a movie called The Pirate King, so that's in post-production, and then I have a movie called Nichols coming out in January in theaters. Yeah.
Look forward to it. Bitsie, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that is a super series. Out on Blu-ray, and it's streaming. If you haven't seen it, or if you want to do a rewatch, highly recommended. Now, you listeners out there, you might remember I caught up with their super TV son, Alex Garfin, recently for an in-depth interview. That was episode 496. Several other Superman and Lois cast members as well. You can hear all those episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, the archive at the website, comicbookcentral.net. I'm hoping to have a sit-down with Superman himself, Tyler Hoechlin, soon. He couldn't do an interview with me at TerrifiCon, but he said he'd love to join me on the show at some point down the road. He is going to be here in my hometown of Columbus, Ohio next month, so stay tuned. We'll see if I can schedule something. All right, now someone I did get a chance to record with at TerrifiCon was actor and comedian Brian Posehn. You might know him from HBO's Mr. Show, of course, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, The Mandalorian, his stand-up act. He co-wrote a ton of issues of Marvel's Deadpool. And, of course, we all got to know and love him as geologist Bert Kibler on The Big Bang Theory. Now, Brian is set to reprise the role in the spin-off series, Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, and we got a chance to chat about that.
Okay, I was stoked, as everybody's a huge Big Bang Theory fan, to know that Bert was coming back. How shocked were you that Bert was coming back?
Oh, man, I can't even explain. It's one of those things, as an actor, to be my age and then to get to do, it's going to be the biggest thing I've ever done, already. It is, because I've never been I've been a regular on a Comedy Central show, Sarah Silverman, and then, I've produced things, but to be on, the call list or the call sheet and be number 2 or 3
all the time for every episode. Yeah, that's what we want to hear.
It's one that you're waiting for, and to get it at 59 when you're sitting at home writing jokes and writing comic books. I got it on my phone. Chuck Lorre was calling me, and I'm like, it was a holy shit moment. I'm sorry to drop the S-bomb, but I was like, holy, my wife got excited, and
you didn't expect any of that, right? Because they were going backwards in time.
It was a year ago or so, he called me and said, hey, we're working on this. Wow. And then it's been up and down, and then we got the for sure just in the last couple of weeks. So they're already casting and the other parts and building sets and all that.
Wow.
So
did you get a sense over the years, though, how beloved Bert was, year to year? And did that affect your performance at all?
No. So I travel a lot. My stand-up is my main thing, and always has been. So, I see it on the road. People of different shapes and sizes and colors and ages, and everybody loves that show, you know. But it was funny. My comedy friends had no idea that I was even on the show because
they don't watch much TV.
Cool, Too cool for regular
I always say when
TV.
people say, I don't watch TV, I'm like, what do you do?
But my mother-in-law loved Bert, so there you go. Yeah.
Oh, family cred. Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
What were some of your favorite moments? Because I think playing in the band, I think Rock Show.
Because I got to play. I think I played an SG just like I own. I had a Gibson, and it looked exactly like the one I have at home.
Oh, okay, so that was all legit.
Yeah. They asked me if I could play, and I go, kind of.
Which is what
my wife would tell you no, but
my neighbors might say so.
Yeah, I don't play loud enough for them to get mad, but yes.
What about Rock really Show? Fun. Like, how many times did you get to say the phrase Rock Show?
I think we only did a couple of takes. I'm a professional. I'll nail it. I usually nail it on the first one and then give them the other one for safety.
Right.
But we didn't have to do that very often, but I've done it a lot in Cameo because that's a big thing where people go, hey, please do the Rock Show thing.
Yeah.
For my dad's birthday.
Yeah.
So I'll do it.
Oh, my God. You're going to hate me when I ask you to do it. But at least, I want to talk about Fantastic Four, too. It's huge in the theaters.
Terrible one. Yeah,
well, no. I actually like that one. But don't tell Doug Jones. Doug Jones is here. He's the Silver Surfer.
Oh, nice. No, I love it.
Did you get to meet Doug Jones when you were filming at all?
I don't remember.
Because a lot of his stuff was CGI.
Yeah, I believe it was. We were in Vancouver, and we shoot. Does he arrive in that scene? No, it's the helicopter scene.
It's the helicopter scene,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so no, I don't think, I didn't meet him, but Stan Lee I did meet.
Nice.
Stan was doing his cameo the same day up in Vancouver, so I went over. It was one of the nerdiest things I've ever done, but I went up and I go, he's sitting by himself at lunch. No one's bugging him, but I'm like, I'm bugging him.
Was everybody just like afraid to go up to him or just being
restricted? But like people were kind of off to their own, and the other cast members were all in their trailers eating, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to go over there. And I just went over, and I was real cool at first. I go, sir, anybody sitting here? And he goes, no. And I'm just sitting quietly eating, and then finally I just said, it was like Kevin Smith in Mallrats, where I was just like,
I got it.
I got to do the list. I got to do, how much he means to me. Like I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for, Spider-Man as a kid. That was Spider-Man and Batman were my two first. So
what did he say?
He was just super cool. He goes, thanks, and Excelsior.
Excelsior, I know.
Thanks, kid, and that that kind of stuff.
Keep it up,
So it was amazing, and he was just very nice. And I know so we talked for a while about different characters, and
you can nerd out with the best of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell us anything about Stuart, the new show coming out? Can you give us any hints about anything? Because I know Chuck Lorre said it's a lot of CGI, and it's a much different.
Well, just with the title, Stuart fails to save the universe. You just know that there's something else going on. It's a little more. It's different from the show, but the tone is there, and the comedy's there, and the characters are still there. So I think people are really going to dig it, but it's not going to look like the old show.
Yeah. I mean, this is
real. Like the way I think he said, and I think it's pretty smart. It's a show that the guys on the show would watch.
Yes,
because it does to me feel like very Doctor Who-ish.
Yeah,
and and it's got a Marvel hand on it because Zach Penn has written Marvel movies, so there's that filmic thing that takes it to another level, and the fact that we're doing it on single camera, so and with special effects. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
So like Young Sheldon.
But more sci-fi.
But right, the sci-fi.
Yeah.
Don't spoil anything, but has there been somebody on set so far that made you go, oh, wow, I get to work?
On set yet, so we're
pre-production.
We've just done one table read so far.
Okay.
And not yet, but there's some surprises. Yeah.
I got to ask, can you give us a rock show?
That's awesome.
I'll give you 3.
I'll give you 3.
Rock show, rock show, rock show.
You just made the hair on the back of my neck there. Thank you so much, Brian. Have a great week at TerrifiCon.
It's cracked to do a true bird.
Yes, I've screened it many times myself. So have an amazing weekend. Enjoy being here.
Nice talking to you.
And congratulations on the series.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
BrianPosehn.com is where you want to go for Brian's tour schedule, merch, everything that's going on in his world. No release date yet on Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, but I am so looking forward to that series. I know many of you out there are as well. Okay, now, right towards the end of my chat with Brian, you might have heard a little crosstalk with another guy. There was a lot of people there. It was crazy there at TerrifiCon. But you might have heard some crosstalk with another guest who appeared at TerrifiCon this year. He is a veteran guest of the convention and Comic Book Central as well. Comic Book Men's Ming Chen was there, and we got a chance to catch up and talk podcasting and a bunch of nerd stuff.
Ming, it's been a couple of years since you've been here at TerrifiCon, but when did you start coming?
I started coming in 2013, so I believe it was in a Marriott Ballroom in Meridian, Connecticut.
Right.
Moved over to the hockey rink in Bridgeport the next year, and then then they moved.
You're a veteran. You're a TerrifiCon veteran.
I am. I'm very proud to be invited back pretty much every year. I love Mitch. Mitch is a comic book wing alumni. He was on an episode.
He did the Indiana Jones episode,
he
right?
He came in dressed up as Indiana Jones.
Were you short round?
I was basically a short round. Yeah, I my first line when I saw him was "No time for love, Dr. Jones." So
Key's here.
Yeah.
Have you met Key?
I did. So Key's very first convention was TerrifiCon 10 years ago. So imagine my shock when. So real quick story. I'm in the bathroom. Mitch calls me like 5 times in a row. I like to be polite. I don't like to answer the phone in the bathroom when I'm doing my business. So
That's fair.
I hit him up afterwards. He was like, dude, call me in big capital letters. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, you won't believe who's coming back. And I'm like, no. So he got Key Kwan to come back.
It's fantastic.
Now,
Academy Award winning.
Academy Award winner. But, recent Academy Award winner, but forever my hero.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
For my hero. So to be able to see him again is absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see him. We've it was cool. We actually had a nice connection. The first time I met him 10 years ago, he gave me his phone number. I text him every so often.
Oh, so you've got
it's pretty
short
cool.
round on speed dial.
I guess you could say that.
But you don't abuse it, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Just a congratulations.
I
message,
hope you win the Golden Statue tonight. Stuff like that.
Or
so.
if you need a stunt man, I can jump in for you.
I'm a little too old for that, but hey, you never know. You never know. But all of this to say is magic always happens at TerrifiCon.
It does. What do you have going on? I know you're doing some events this weekend too, right? You got
I'm now hopefully the permanent cosplay contest host.
Nice.
I'm doing a bar crawl tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Okay, so that'll be Saturday night. How do you get up Sunday then? If you're doing a bar crawl here at the Mohegan, how are you going to get up? Because you mentioned we are getting older.
Listen, bar crawl starts at 9. Bars don't close here until 2 a.m. And then I just got to be at my table at 10 o'clock. There's big gap to sleep and recover.
All right.
I can still do it.
Just take it easy. Just
I
as
will.
you go, to hydrate. I think
hydrate or Hydra. I don't know. Either one works. Either one works here.
What else have you got going on outside of TerrifiCon?
Beyond that, I have 2 podcast studios in New Jersey. I rent them out by the hour to podcasters.
Okay.
So I guess you could call that my day job.
Wow.
And I get to go to cons on the weekends. It's quite the life.
So are you producing the podcast too, or are you just renting the space?
I'm recording them, rent space. We produce them. We market them. We edit them. We encourage them. We hopefully help them blow up. So it's a whole. We do everything.
That's what we want for all of our podcasts.
Yep, exactly.
I think so. Ming, thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Always.
Enjoy the cosplay contest. That's going to be fantastic. Are there certain ones you look forward to cosplay, like certain characters that you want to see?
The bigger.
Not that it wouldn't influence you in any way.
I'm not a judge, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But I love the big elaborate ones, and we have the Galactus, the 10-foot Galactus. Will be making an appearance here, which is one of the best cosplays I've seen. Ever.
I was wondering if Galactus was going to take over this weekend or not.
Well, Galactus is coming, everybody. We'll get the Herald to announce presence. Say whatever you want to your loved ones right now.
Yeah.
Because Galactus is coming.
That's it. Ming, thanks so much, and
Thank
enjoy
you,
the
my
weekend.
Friend. Thank you, man.
ashareduniverse.net. That's where you go to find out more about Ming's podcast studio. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, one of my favorite things about TerrifiCon, what I believe truly sets this show apart, is that, while it is cool to get celebrities, those TV and movie stars, you see them, all over the place, TerrifiCon never forgets about the source material for all of these things that we know and love, the comic books themselves, and specifically the comic book creators. I have been to a lot of conventions around the country, and TerrifiCon, year in, year out, has the greatest number of comic book creators I've ever seen. This year was no exception. I get a chance to meet up with several of them, and on this part 1 of my adventure, I'm going to introduce you to a few of my faves. As many of you longtime listeners know, I love Flash Gordon. Yes, I do. I love Flash Gordon. Now, the character of Flash Gordon celebrated his 90th anniversary last year. Over the years, I've had guests from the feature film, the television series, the animated series, Flash Gordon artists. They've all been here. Well, last year, to celebrate the 90th anniversary of the character, Mad Cave Studios launched a brand new Flash Gordon comic book series. It premiered with a special issue on Free Comic Book Day. That was memorable. The writer of the series is Jeremy Adams. The artist is Will Conrad. They were both at TerrifiCon this year, and I had a chance to catch up with them and talk about...
Okay, so you've written for a ton of animated series, you've done movies, I mean, Green Lantern, Scooby-Doo, Batman, Superman. Is there anything I meant? What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite character that you've written for?
I mean, I love writing Batman always. I would love to do it in comic books. It just depends on the medium. I love doing the Super Sons movie. That was really fun. I love Johnny Cage, but mostly because Joel McHale was the voice of Johnny Cage. So it just depends. I fall in love with all of it, you know. Right. I really was attached to my run of Wally West Flash books a lot. I was very attached to it. But, yeah, I love Batman. Batman's always going to be the guy I love to write, especially, you know, I love it in Batman Soul of the Dragon, or even Lego Batman was really fun, but... yeah, he's the guy.
I know it all comes down to storytelling, but do you prefer one medium over the other, like are there movies or animation or even comic books?
So I really love comic books, and this is why. There's kind of an immediacy to the feedback and just the output and seeing art get back.
Animation could be like 5 years.
Oh my gosh. And then you get interviewed with animation, and you're like, what were you thinking 2 years ago? And I'm like, you know. But the immediacy of comic books is really fun. The very brief stuff I've done in live action, like Supernatural, is really fun, but that's more fun because you get to see the entire team putting it together and doing that stuff. But comic books are so much more pure, what you're thinking and your collaboration with the artist and inker and colorist. It's just such a smaller group, you know? Right. So.
I'm a huge Flash Gordon fan. I cannot tell you how stoked I am that it came back. I mean, the series is unbelievably incredible. How did Flash Gordon come into your life, or did you force yourself? Did you seek out Flash Gordon? And were you a Flash Gordon fan coming into it?
So weirdly, it's the Flash Gordon movie. You know, it kind of permeated.
Sam Jones, 1980, yes. All right.
And in fact, I did an internship for Dino De Laurentiis, who was the producer on that movie. Oh, that was my first Hollywood job as an intern at Dino De Laurentiis, doing coverage, looking at Dino smoking cigars in the background. It's just awesome. But really, the love of Flash Gordon, in a way, came from the fact that I love Edgar Rice Burroughs and I love John Carter of Mars, and that kind of the pulp sci-fi era of comics and comic strips. That's what I got really into. And so when Mike Martz was giving, we're doing these licensed books, would you ever want to do it? And he said Flash Gordon. I thought, I'll do Flash Gordon, because I wanted just to have something that's kind of unburdened by a huge amount of continuity and be able to just tell kind of pulpy sci-fi stories.
Yeah, and that's a character that's, you can pretty much go anywhere with it. Were there inspiration, like did you go back to the serials? Did you go back to the movie? Did you go, where did you draw from? You mentioned a couple things like John Carter and stuff.
Sure, John Carter, but my buddy Jim Krieg gave me a bunch of Alex Raymond, comic strips. A lot of it, if you're a nerd for long enough, it kind of comes through osmosis.
It's in your DNA.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And then, I just spruced up on... And really, the big move for it was they said to me, they didn't want me to use the word Mongo. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, we think it's derogatory. I go, no, it's not. And I go, it's the name of the planet. And I go, but I'm not going to police myself, so I'm going to blow up Mongo. And that was the main hook. That kind of set off the whole story I was going to do, because I was like, I'm not gonna sit there and I can't say Mongo, so I'm going to blow it up. Yeah. And they're like, what? And then they kind of went with it when I described what I wanted to do. So that's been a really fun way to kind of sequelize the Flash Gordon and not try to reinvent it. I'm not trying to reinvent it.
Right.
I'm just trying to stay true to the square-jawed hero that saves the day.
That spirit of that 80s flick, too. So how far can the series go, do you think? I mean,
it can go forever.
I think as we're talking, is it issue 11 that's about to come out?
Yeah, and I'm on issue 15 now.
So thank goodness. I know I'm getting at least four more issues out of it, or five more issues out of this.
About that many, but
okay. But you think it could go forever?
I think even when I end up leaving the book, they're just gonna keep doing it.
Okay.
Mad Cave is making a long run for not just that and Speed Racer, and I mean, shoot, David Pepos is just killing it over there with the stuff. So
yeah, they're doing some great. They've got some great IPs and things like that. What's next other than Flash Gordon? You got anything else you're cooking you could tell us about?
So I'm obviously doing Aquaman. I'm doing Green Lantern. I'm doing Green Lantern Corps with Morgan Hampton, and that is we're doing a big event called the Fractured. No, it's called the Starbreaker Supremacy. Beyond that, just stuff in the works in the background, but nothing.
Okay.
I do have an animated movie coming out sometime either this fall or spring. I don't know.
Okay. Do you have a website that we can kind of go to or on social media?
Yeah, just social media. Just look up Space Kicker. You can either go to spacekicker.com or you can just go to Space Kicker on Instagram or Twitter.
Jeremy, thanks so much for joining me on Comic Book Central, man.
All right, thank you.
Just had a chance to talk to Jeremy. I'm a huge Flash Gordon fan. Are you a huge Flash Gordon fan, or were you coming into the project?
Yes, I'm a big Flash Gordon fan. I was doing stuff for DC, and Mike Mars from Mad Cave, he contacted me. I worked with him before. I think it was at Marvel, I guess. And he said, "Oh, I want you to do stuff for Mad Cave." And he started, telling me some projects, and all of a sudden I just heard Flash Gordon.
Oh, it was like a list of projects.
Yes.
Oh, and that one popped up. Okay.
Oh yeah, and so when he said Flash Gordon, I said, yeah, that's it. I want to do Flash Gordon.
What did that mean to you? Were you thinking of the movie, the 80s movie? Or are you thinking of the serials? Are you thinking of the comic strip? What popped in your head?
I think it was all of it. But the first thing that came to my head was Flash. Everybody. I think everybody hears that. So, but when he said Flash Gordon, the whole universe, even the movies from the 30s, the first movies, the work that Alex Raymond did.
Yeah.
So everything. I love that universe, actually.
What were you able to take from previous iterations, whether it was the comic strip, whether it was the movies, and what did you want to bring into it fresh and new for yourself?
Well, obviously, when you get such a project that has a big fan base and especially something that is related to the childhood of so many people and myself, I was trying to be as faithful as the original material as I could, but on the other hand, they asked me to make it newer and fresh for the new audience. And so there were a few things that I had to redo and redesign, as per their request. But what I tried to do was keep as much as I could from the original stuff. And even the things that I had to change, I wanted to give a little taste of the old stuff.
Yeah. Is there anything that's in the issues that maybe you hid, like some Easter eggs or things like that maybe we don't notice right away, but you'd like for us to put our attention on those?
Well, there are a few touches. For example, you'll see that in the series, Ming is not that same Ming as the movie from the 80s. They wanted me to stay away a little bit from that, that Fu Manchu look that he had, but I tried to keep him as an alien as much closer that I could from the original. But the thing that I think people are going to see the most are the guns. The guns, although they are, new, if you look at the design of them, it's like that vintage futuristic stuff.
Yeah.
So
very retro, but very modern
exactly,
at the same time. That's what we love about it.
Yeah.
Jeremy thinks that this series could go on and on and on and on. We're hoping that it does. Would you be in it for the long haul if it does?
No, I actually did my last issue.
Oh no! Don't tell me that. Oh, dun dun dun. Which issue is your last?
Issue 11. But they will see my covers for a while. So
okay, I broke my heart there a little bit because issue 11's not out yet, and I'm like, oh no, now it's gonna be bittersweet when I read it.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But
you got a great run on it. Was it two full storylines, I think, within the two. Yeah,
I did a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But as I said, I am away, but not far away. I'm doing the covers, so
Okay.
And whenever they want me to do something inside, I'll be there for it.
And what's next for you? What's around the corner that we can expect? Issue 11, and then what's beyond that?
Well, I'm doing stuff for DC. I'm also doing some work with Tyler Mane, the actor. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing. There are stuff that I can't comment right now.
Oh, those are our favorites, the ones you can't comment because we know something good's around the corner. Do you have a website or social media that we can follow and see what you're up to?
Well, I have a Facebook and an Instagram. Same thing. It's Will Conrad Art. And I'm very reachable. I'm always available to, reply everybody who sends me messages. And when I have the time, I'm always replying. I'm very easy to talk to.
How many Flash Gordon commissions have you done already so far?
In this show?
Yeah, this one.
About 5.
That's good. That's perfect. That's what we love to hear. Thank you so much for joining me on Comic Book Central.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
Now, comic book legends abound at TerrifiCon, and this year was no exception. Now, if you listeners out there have heard my segments on the IndieCast, that would be the world's #1 Indiana Jones fan podcast, you know that my buddy Keith Voss and I over there, we've recorded in-depth interviews with most of the legendary Marvel talents who worked on the further adventures of Indiana Jones, and then a bunch of other Indiana Jones comic books, Dark Horse as well. We tried to go as deep as we could on those comics. One of the icons of the industry is the great artist Kerry Gammill. Now, if you want to hear our in-depth chat with Kerry about his career, his time at Marvel, working on further adventures and more, you should check out the Comic Book Central YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe while you're there. I always appreciate that. But I included that 2-part interview. It's in the Indiana Jones playlist on the Comic Book Central YouTube channel, so you can check that out. It's episodes 17 and 18, but not now. Put a bookmark on that for right now. Right now, you are listening to this episode, and at TerrifiCon, I finally got to meet up with Kerry in person. I got my Indiana Jones book signed. I got a picture with him. Yeah, I did. And I got to catch up with him and record a quick chat as well. Check it out.
All right, I cannot believe it has been 13 years since we last chatted for the IndieCast. I mean, what all is going on in the world of Kerry Gammill these days?
Well, I'm getting older. So,
aren't we all?
Yeah. So I'm mainly doing things like, come to the shows. When I've got the 4C Comics is my art rep, and they bring me to these things, so I don't have to do anything but show up, or actually they help me show up. So this is working out nice. Where I just do artwork for people and sign my name for money and stuff. So which is weird to me.
But I mean, is there anybody that you've ever fanboyed out about? Like, because you see people come out and like, oh my God, these characters. Who did you fanboy about?
Well, all the guys.
Probably in the world of monsters and creatures. I'm going to guess. Maybe is that fair? Fair to say?
Well, yeah. I mean, anybody that has any connection to, any old monster movies, horror movies, and stuff. It's like there's this. Well, she's passed away now, but named Janet Ann Gallo, who started coming to conventions. And she was the little girl in Ghost of Frankenstein in 1942 that the monster, becomes friends with. Yeah. He gets her ball off the roof and carries her down, and just something that was such an impact on my childhood. Now the person really exists in the real world. Donnie Dunnigan is the same way. He was the little kid. And when he was 4 or 5 years old, he was in Son of Frankenstein, playing Basil Rathbone's little son, and the monster and him became friends until the monster almost threw him in the sulfur pit at the end. So no one knew where he was for like 20 or 30 years. He was in the Marines, but he was in a few things when he was a kid, a few movies, and he was the voice and the face model for Bambi for Disney, and then he kind of disappeared from movies, and no one had any idea that if he was still alive or not. And then he turned up when he retired from the Marines and started doing shows and interviews and things, and so I knew him for a little while. I went to his house once and everything. So
it's nice to know that you fanboy about people as well too. What are people having you draw here? What's the most popular?
Mostly Superman, because I did Superman for 4 or 5 years, various Superman projects, and so I'm pretty well known for that.
Any Indiana Jones, has that come up at all?
A lot of autographs. I haven't had any sketches of Indiana Jones, but that happens once in a while too.
We're looking at the cover of issue number 7 with Marion Ravenwood, Karen Allen.
Yeah.
Please tell me you got to meet Karen Allen while you were...
Yeah,
she's right around the corner.
Is she? I'll have to go over and try to see her.
Well, you drew some Temple of Doom artwork. You sent Keith and myself that on the IndieCast, and it's Ki Hoi Kwan is over there, so that'd be kind of cool. So I don't know if you brought any of that hidden artwork with you, but you got to.
If I can get close to them, because you got to stand in line to see them.
Oh, I'm sure if you walked over with one of these, Karen Allen would let you in.
Yeah, maybe so.
The Art of Kerry Gammill on Facebook, is that correct? That's where we want to go?
Yeah.
To find out what you've got going on?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
right.
what's the latest and greatest, or is it just you doing commissions?
Well, the last couple of big projects I did were both for Legendary Comics, and they were just real, kind of labor of love for me, real dream jobs.
Yeah.
Was doing graphic novels of Frankenstein and Dracula, based on the novels. So Shelley's Frankenstein and Bram Stoker's Dracula, but the monsters in the books were played by Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. So the families, of Karloff and Lugosi were involved, and so I did mostly the Dracula figures and faces and the Frankenstein faces. But in the graphic novel, we couldn't use the monster makeup that's famous in the movies without bringing Universal into it somehow.
All the rights, right?
So we just went by the book and made him look more like Shelley's description.
Oh,
of
okay.
him. So, but it's still Karloff's face. So those came out. Frankenstein came out last year. Dracula came out, I think, 3 years before that.
Okay.
But those are the last 2 big comic book projects that I had out, and I think you can get those on Amazon.
Okay. Is that the best place to go, The Art of Kerry Gammill on Facebook?
Yeah, if you just want to see, what I'm doing,
and you respond to people too. I think
I try.
I know. I appreciate it.
Great about it, but because I get overwhelmed pretty easy with stuff.
It's a lot.
So
I'm telling you what, Kerry, it is an honor to finally get to meet you in person. This is fantastic. I thank you for the Indiana Jones work you've done. I thank you for everything you've done over the years. Continued success, and thank you so much for joining me again on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Okay, real quick notes. Number 1, on Facebook, follow our page, The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones. Also follow Comic Book Central. You guys are doing that, but The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones is out there too. There you will find at least, I think, 3 photo albums of that unpublished Kerry Gammill Indiana Jones artwork that I mentioned. 2, yes, Kerry did get to meet up with Karen Allen at TerrifiCon. That was really cool. He posted a nice picture of it on his personal Facebook page, so you can check that out there, and also follow his art page. And 3, I also got to meet up with Karen Allen again, met up with her years ago in Pittsburgh, got to meet up with her again at TerrifiCon. I didn't get to record an interview with her at TerrifiCon, but spoiler alert, you will hear my chat with Karen that I did get to record a little bit closer to home at the Cincinnati Comic Expo. Those episodes are headed your way very soon. Okay, folks, that is it for part 1 of my adventure at TerrifiCon. My thanks to all the guests who joined me for today's episode. My thanks to Mitch Halleck, as always, and the entire crew at TerrifiCon. Unbelievable time each and every year. But we're just getting started. TerrifiCon Part 2, that is going to be a shell-abration of epic proportions, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films, celebrating 35 years of turtle power. Actors Robbie Rist, Brian Tochi, and Ernie Reyes Jr. will be here. Yes, I'm going to be talking about the Brady Bunch, Bionic Woman, and Space Academy. You know how I roll. I love all that old-timey stuff. Plus, talking Hollywood history with Emmy Award-winning puppeteer, producer, director Bill Diamond. Also, the artist behind Captain America Truth, Kyle Baker. He's going to join us. And I will welcome back to the show Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Superman writer Joe Kelly. Those are going to be the conversations you'll hear. I gathered those around the massive floor at TerrifiCon, running around, recording quick conversations. My panel Q&As, so many cool guests on those. They are headed your way as well. But note, here's a programming note. After part 2, again, here's a little programming note. I'm going to put a slight pause on my TerrifiCon adventure to bring you a very special episode. just when you thought it was safe to go back in the concert hall, it is my Jaws in concert special. Jaws, 50th anniversary of the world's first summer blockbuster, with the Columbus Symphony Orchestra playing live to film. That is taking place Friday, November 7th, right here in my backyard of Columbus, Ohio, at the beautiful Ohio Theater. I'm going to sit down with the conductor of the symphony, Stuart. I will also have a preview of a Back to the Future, the musical event that's coming. This is an episode you do not want to miss, talking about one of the greatest films of all time, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra playing the music to Jaws. Also, another the greatest films of all time, Back to the Future, the musical preview, kappa.com, CAPA.com. That's where you get your tickets and all the information, everything I just mentioned. I know that was a lot of information there. Look, there's a lot coming your way, right? So, TerrifiCon Part 2 coming right at you. All the guests I mentioned. Then, brief break from my Jaws in Concert Columbus, Ohio special. Then, back to TerrifiCon. All my TerrifiCon Q&As. Oh my goodness, so much headed your way. And for this epic 500 episode special, were you not entertained? You listeners out there, tell your friends about the show. Tell your family. Share the lair. Coming at you with the next episode really quickly. Until then, keep on being terrific. Keep safe and keep reading those comics. Thanks for joining me here in the lair. Comic Book Central, where comic books come to life. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Comic Book Central. All the content and names are registered trademarks and copyrights of the respective holders.